Hey everybody, Stephanie from Coaching Horizons International Radio. Today I'm interviewing Geary Nelson from Illinois, a singer-songwriter. So Geary, can you tell us your story?
Well, hello everybody. I am Geary Nelson. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm originally from the Chicago suburbs in Illinois. I now reside in the state of Arkansas. I moved down here about 23 years ago. My wife and I did. And I perform still today with my band here in Arkansas, and I still write songs and I still release songs. So, and I'd like to kind of give you some background on how I got started. I was one of the lucky ones in my era when I was like 9 or 10 years old. My father was a country singer, and I got exposed to music when his band would rehearse at our house when I was 9. And I listened to the band, the drummer, the bass player, the lead guitar player, and of course my dad, who was a singer. I knew I wanted to be a musician. I knew. And I also knew at that point that I wanted to play the guitar. So after a couple of weeks, I got up enough nerve to ask my dad one day, could you please show me how to play some chords on the guitar? And he said, yes, I will, but you have to practice on it. You can't, you just can't learn something one day and then not do it, again. So true story, he showed me 3 chords, and he says, when you can change through these chords in a progression, like a song would be, when you can do that fluently, I will show you some more chords. I got a gift, I guess. My father was a musician. My mother's father was a musician. A lot of music in both sides of my family, my mom and my dad's side. So evidently something was in my DNA, because 3 days later, I went back to my dad and I said, I got it. He says, oh, no, you don't. Let me listen to it. And he was shocked. He says, oh my gosh. He says, that's really great. So he continued to show me chords until I pretty much had most of them, had them down. I knew them. I came home every day from school, Stephanie, after school, and I picked up my guitar and I practiced. While all of my friends were outside playing kickball and basketball and sports and stuff like that, I sat on the couch after school. Back in those days, we got home about 3:15 in the afternoon. And I would practice for about 2 hours. And it paid off, because by the time I was 10 and a half or 11, I turned into a pretty good guitar player. And I joined a band that was just beginning in the Carpentersville, Illinois area, which is a suburb of Chicago. And we became the Panics. And we were a teenage band. I started writing songs at that time. Our lead singer, Dave Richardson, wrote songs at that time. Anyway, long story short, this band went on to win competitions. We won a record deal in '65. They put us on tour. They put us on TV. We were 15 years old and doing television. We toured down south. It was just a great time, Stephanie. I can never, ever regret my youth, my teenage years. I didn't sing then, though. I just did a little yeah in the background behind the songs. And then as I got older, when I was 19 or 20 years old is when I started singing. And I was influenced by a lot of people, especially the Beatles, but I also enjoyed listening to Elvis Presley, Bobby Darin. I liked most of the groups that came out of England, the Dave Clark Five, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin. I liked most of these groups, and I did perform their songs when I did shows, along with some of my own songs that I wrote at that time. And as I started to say, when I was 19 or 20 years old, I started singing, and I started my own band at that time. And we played pretty much all the time. And I knew that I wanted to build a recording studio in my house. And so I was married at 19. And so my wife, she did not have a problem with me taking one of the rooms and making it into a recording studio. So not having a lot of money at that time, I bought what I felt I needed to be able to record. And I started recording when I was 20 years old. And today I have my own studio, which you can see the cables and the books and stuff behind me. That's all my studio stuff. I record all my songs myself. I record every part. I'm a multi-instrument musician. I play keyboards, drums, bass guitar, pretty much all string instruments. I do all my own vocals. So when you hear me singing a song, that background harmony and stuff like that, that's me doing it. Most of my mastered tracks have probably 50, 60 tracks to them. And because I do overdub violin parts, I play those from the keyboard. The keyboard has a synthesizer in it, and I put like violins in the background, saxophones in the background. And I also master my own stuff. And for a while, a couple of years ago, Stephanie, I did offer a service to other songwriters or people who had recorded their own music. And I offered to master the music for them. But I found that it took me away from me doing my own music. And today I have probably 20 projects started that I need to finish up. A lot of them are just waiting for me to sing them. And I don't like releasing too many songs at one time. So I try to release maybe one or two at a time. I write rock music, pop music. I write songs that I feel that have a hook in them, interesting. I don't do explicit words. I don't do that kind of stuff. I like a song that makes sense. I like it to have a chorus and a bridge and some verses. I like the words to make sense too. And it's just something that I enjoy. I know I call myself a singer-songwriter, but I'm more of a music creator. I create music. I think you would be surprised, Stephanie, at what kind of music I have that I don't release. And it could be elevator music. It could be music you'd hear in the doctor's office, you know. But those are just things that I have fun with. I enjoy recording. That's what I do just about every day. I do try to exercise because sitting at a desk with a monitor and your recording equipment is not exercising. You're exercising your lungs and your hands, but you know, the rest of yourself, you got to exercise. Probably the thing that bothers me the most about the music business today is trying to get your name out there without it costing you an arm and leg money-wise. And so that's very hard to do. I try to do the best I can in the social media, sharing things. I also share other artists' musics too. And I really feel that we need to help each other. I really do. I really wanted to be a successful songwriter. I never thought of myself as a singer, even though I've got a lot of compliments and positive feedback from individuals that say I am a good singer. I appreciate that. I really do. But I always thought of myself as a lead guitar player, Stephanie, and a songwriter. And I would love to have some bands or some other artists do some of my songs. But sometimes it's kind of hard to make your song fit another artist that if you don't really know them all that well. And for me, it's to continue to write. As a matter of fact, I just wrote another new song 2 days ago. If I've got a downfall, Stephanie, if I've got a problem that I can't fix, it's that I write too many songs. I mean, I write a lot of songs. And at this point, I'm probably close to 200. I have 52 or 53 songs released out on the digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes. I got a couple of albums out there, and but I just keep cranking them out. No, and I had some success with several of my songs back in 2016. They got in the top 10 on the European charts, and they were on the top 10 for almost 2 months, which really surprised me. And it felt good to have that happen. I really enjoyed that. I tried to get my songs to all the radio stations that I know of or that I come across. And I can honestly say that yet I have never met a person that I sent my songs to at a radio station that was not nice. They're all nice, you know, including yourself, Stephanie. I just want to make sure you know that. So, any questions for me?
Yes, so Geary, what is your creative process like?
My creative process is very, very simple. When I say this, you guys that are trying to write songs and be creative, this is not the only way, all right? But for me personally, I pick up my guitar and I usually start going through some chords, just playing some together and doing some accents, and then all of a sudden, if I find a pattern that I feel is interesting, I start humming a melody line to it, and a lot of times I'll just start making up words, you know, not necessarily the words that I use in the final product, but I just make up some things just as a placeholder. And usually I have the song written probably within an hour. Chord structure, the melody lines finished, and I probably have 75% of the right words that I'm going to use. But I do end up modifying the words as I listen to it, because I try to give it a break. If you listen to something too much, it kind of sours your thought process in regards to, well, maybe this might sound better. Maybe I'll try this. And that's my process. Now, a lot of people write the lyrics first, and that's fine. That works for a lot of people. I have written lyrics first and then put music to it, but that's a rarity for me. Most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm the music person. I make up the music. I make up the melody. I got the drum. Since I play drums, I have the drum beat in my head how I want it done. And I've been known to put the song together, put it on my recorder, and probably work on it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then I will change the arrangement on it because I thought of something better, and I have done that. You know, it normally takes me 30 to 35 days to completely finish a song. And that's all the music, all the words, all the singing, all the vocals, every instrument that I'm going to put on it. If you listen to my song, American Heartbeat, that song has a lot of different types of, it's got probably about 4 or 5 instruments in it, but each one of those instruments are playing a specific thing at the same time. And it makes a difference in the song. To me, it does. It makes a difference in the song. And so that creative process for me is pretty much straightforward. Guitar, melody, words. I start making up the arrangement in my head. And I always start with a drum beat. I have an idea what the drum beat's going to be. So I create a drum pattern, and then I add my guitar to it. And then I add the bass guitar to it, and I add my vocals. And usually, like I said, you know, in 30 or 35 days, I have a song that's finished. I have my own mastering tools, and I'm a lot of songwriters and musicians are going to know what that means. When when you record your music, the final master is where you EQ things to be balanced and so forth. And I have those tools, and I've been mastering songs since 2011 or 2012. I've been mastering my own stuff. Now, I did try to send my songs out before that to some places to be mastered, and I did not like them. I did not like the final product. And matter of fact, I did release a song, and I let somebody else master it, and then I pulled it back off of the digital platforms, and I remastered it myself, and I liked it a whole lot better. And I actually had people say, Gary, that don't sound like the same one. I said, it's not. So it's something that I like to do. And I use a simple recording system. I don't use tape. It's digital. I used tape up until probably 2014, 2015. I had a big, Stephanie, I had a huge 16-track Tascam tape machine. Thing weighed a ton.
So now we're going to play one of your songs, Think of Me. Would you like to tell a little bit about it?
Sure. Which one is it?
Think of Me.
Think of Me. This is a song. I support the military 100%. I mean, 100%. And this song came to me in my sleep. That's the honest to God truth. It came to me in my sleep. The idea of it. But this song is about a guy who goes into the military, falls in love with a girl before he leaves his hometown. She makes a bunch of promises to him. She pledges to love him forever and have marriage plans. And when the soldier gets to the Middle East, she writes him a Dear John letter. And it just tears him apart. And that's what the song is about.
When he holds you tight, when he's loving you, do you think of me? Once upon a time, you said you were mine. Promises made to me on bending knees. I went to war, you changed your mind. Letters you wrote me telling me goodbye. We've been here alone in the sands of time. Did you think of me when you said goodbye? Did you think of me? How it hurt me inside. Now I know you didn't think of me. Now I am home to start my life. I see you walking, then you turned and smiled. You waved to me and winked your eyes. Now do you think of me when he holds you tight at night? Do you think of me when he kissed you goodnight? When he's loving you, do you think of me? How could I know after all this time? Some spark was left for me there in your heart. You touch my hand, my heart's on fire. Do you think of me when he holds you tight at night? think of me? Do you 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 think of me?
I can't help but pat my foot when I listen to that.
Yeah.
That video
Thank
was
you.
done by a lifelong friend of mine who lives in Colorado. He worked for NBC for many, many years as a cameraman. And he does me a favor every now and then. His name is Chuck Richardson, and he made that video for me. Thank you, Chuck. Really do appreciate it.
I really like that. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Geary, what challenges have you faced as a songwriter?
Well, in all honesty, most of the challenges have come from trying to get your song heard in a time frame that's reasonable. Promotions, in all honesty, promotions used to be better, I'm talking about years ago, than they are today. Sad to say, there's just so many people out there trying to scam people. They'll tell you that they can do this and do that for you, and they, give me $200 and we'll do this for you. I got took one time a couple of years ago. The only good thing is I only got took for $50. But I learned my lesson from that. But the challenge is just trying to get your music noticed by more than one circle. And I always try to express to the people who share my songs or make comments on them. I always say, please share, because if you can get outside of your circle, you can get other people to listen to your music. Back in the 70s, I took, well, you're not old enough to know this, but back in the 70s, I recorded a song and it was on a 45 wax record. And I took it to the two big major radio stations in Chicago at that time. And neither one of them would play it. They listened to it. They said, "Geary, this is really good." But they said, "Sorry, we can't play it because you don't have a label." So that's the kind of message that I got at that time, that, you needed to get a label to get on the radio station. But access to radio stations did get easier down the road. They are easier to contact people. And like I said, most of the people that all the people that I deal with on the radio today are all very, very pleasant. And I'm always courteous and supportive of them too. But the challenge is to get your songs heard by more than just, my circle or your circle. Okay. And sometimes that's, that's difficult. I do want to say that, like I said, I still perform live shows, and I do it here in Arkansas. And if I don't mention my band members' names, Stephanie, they'll beat me with a red stick. I have a band here in Arkansas called Rockin' Roads Band. We do classic rock. We do songs from the late 50s all the way up into the 90s. And we also do a handful of my songs too. I just kind of interject them into the show. We have people that come to listen to us. We draw very, very good crowds, and they like to dance, and they like us. We interact with the crowd a lot. On keyboards is my lovely wife, Peggy Nelson. She's been playing keyboards with us since 2014. She has a synthesizer. She does all the saxophones and the violins and stuff that these songs need. And she sings, does a great job. So that's my wife, Peggy Nelson, on keyboards. On drums, we have Phil Kilmer. And Phil has been a drummer since he was a young boy. And he sings, and he also does a lot of DJ activity on our stage, just messing with the crowd, talking about things and stuff like that. But he does a great job. That would be Phil Kilmer. And on bass, we have Mark McCaig. Now, Mark has been with us now for probably 6 to 7 years, and he just does a fabulous job. And we all sing. And they also sing some leads on some songs themselves to kind of give me a break. I do sing 98% of all the songs. We do songs by Journey, Bon Jovi, Bad Company, The Beatles, Rolling Stones. We even do a Michael Jackson song. And Mark is from New York, but we don't hold that against him. All right. So he lives here in Arkansas. He lives outside of Bella Vista, where we live. The drummer, and of course my wife. And we rehearse once a week. We believe that rehearsal is important, and we play a minimum of 2 times a month. We could play more, but I try to keep it down as much as I can. Only due to the fact that everybody has families. Now, of course, I don't have any children here where I live. My children are grown. But Phil has some children, and Mark has, he wants to get a dog. So we'll see if Mark ever gets a dog, But we are the Rock and Rose Band, and that's what I do outside of recording on my songs. And I don't know if you heard that thunder behind me, but it's thundering here by me. So I don't know if you heard that or not. So.
And what do you wish you had known when you were first starting out?
I can tell you that I wish I knew at that time how music is integrated together. It took me years to understand how to make other instruments into a song and make it sound really good, really good. So an example would be how do you and why do you add a saxophone? Why do you add a violin here? Why do you add another instrument over here? I wish I knew that better in my younger days. I didn't really get the hang of that till probably about 1990, 1995. I was doing it so much that finally I was getting the hang of it. And that's the one thing that I wish I knew when I was younger. And I also wish that I would have paid more attention to the famous people that I met when I was younger. And kept in contact with a lot of them. And if I had, maybe they might have been able to steer me to the right organization or to the right place as I got older. I did meet a lot of people. You've heard of Herman's Hermits, right? The English band, Herman's Hermits. I met them at McCormick Place when I was a kid. And their bass player, Carl Green, I met him, and him and I became friends on Facebook. I was chatting with him one night, and I was telling him how I met him backstage at McCormick Place when my band was playing there, and we won a contest there. And Herman's Hermits was doing a show that weekend, so they were bringing their stuff in. And Carl was very kind. They were, they're older than us, but he was very kind. And but I kind of lost track of him. He's not on Facebook anymore. But I wish I stayed in more contact with some of those people that I had met, especially some of the people in Memphis when we went down to Memphis. We toured Memphis down there, and that's probably the one thing that I wish that I had paid more attention to. You know, I did get an offer to write commercials with. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember the Oscar Mayer Wiener whistle? Yep. Okay. I met the guy that wrote that. I was introduced to him by another friend, and my friend told him, the guy that wrote that song or that wrote that commercial, told him that I know this guy who writes songs. That was me. And so I went to meet him, and I brought a little tape player with me and a cassette. At that time, we used cassettes. And I played him 3 or 4 of my songs, and he said, you wrote these songs? I said, yes, I did. He said, how would you like to write a commercial with me? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. So long story short, Stephanie, I agreed to do this. I actually wrote the song and put the commercial together. It was about Canfield's 50-50. And I played it from my brother, from my wife, and they all said it was great, but I never turned it in. And that's one thing that I regret. I never did that. You know?
Yeah. Thank you. So now we're going to play another one of Geary's songs, Stand With God. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that one?
Stand With God. I've been blessed my whole life with my Christian belief in God, Lord Jesus. I like to think of myself as a nice person. I'm kind to everybody. I go out of my way for people. I still open doors for people who were walking into a building. I open doors for them. And I wanted to write something for God and for people who listen to me about why you should stand with God. And Stephanie, the words just flowed out to this song. They just flowed out. I had no struggle at all coming up with the words. It was like he was tapping me on the shoulder, in all honesty, and saying, this word goes here, this word goes there, this word goes here, this word goes there. And I donate my revenue, my royalty revenue, I donate that to the 2 churches that I'm involved with. I send them a check every 3 months for the royalties from this song. I hope you like it. It has a real touchy feely message, and I hope we're all together one day. I hope we're all together one day, and I know we will be. Stand with God.
Sunday place he'll make one day. Who will live to see that judgment day? Who will be passed on? Who will live into that day? Church was raptured just as God said it would. Millions disappearing where they stood, safe from the days, gone in a twinkling of an eye. They went with God from His mercy and His grace, Almighty God. Safe from punishment and pain, they stand with God.
Stand with God. When I was mentioning to you earlier, Stephanie, about me doing all the parts that are on the songs and stuff like that, that is one of the most that song right there was one of the most detailed songs I have, with background harmony, all that background singing that you heard. I do all that. It takes time, but but I do it. And it's nice when you work on a project and it comes out that clean. I really enjoy. I like that song a lot. So does my wife.
I like that, and I like the key change at the end. It's pretty. Thank you. So, Geary, what do you feel has been your biggest accomplishment so far?
There's an organization called the International Singer-Songwriter Association, ISA, ISSA, and in 2021, I was Songwriter of the Year. I won an award for that. I have a really nice glass trophy, and I really appreciated the fact that the judges chose me because of the songs that I had written, and I really appreciate that. I won awards when I was younger, but it was for playing the guitar and with a teenage rock band. So it's nice to have people acknowledge something that you do that you love. Because in all honesty, I don't think anybody could go to a recording studio every day or every other day and spend maybe 7 hours or 8 hours without loving it. You have to enjoy that, and I do enjoy it. I really do. And I've also helped other songwriters who are not musically as advanced as I am. And so I do the instruments for them. They wrote the song, they wrote the melody and the music, but I played the instruments. I made the instrument track for them, and then they sent me their vocal. Then I put their vocal onto the song, and then I mastered it for them. And I haven't done any in a while, but a few years ago I did probably 5 or 6 that I really, really liked. I like doing that. If I can help somebody, and I don't charge them for that. I just like helping them. So.
And what do you think has helped you become successful in songwriting so far?
I think the fact that I did it when I started young and I never stopped. You know how a lot of times when you're, if you're an engineer or you're a carpenter or you're a painter or you're a sculptor, when you start out, a lot of times, you're not as good as you are, years down the road. But I wrote my first song when I was a little over 11 years old. It's called The Lonely Boy. I'm a lonely boy. I'm a lonely boy. And it was a simple subject. And that's how I started. And I wrote all the time. And even through school, I'd come home and practice the guitar. I would just write stuff. I had books. I had these big folders, and I would write my songs down in there and write the chords above the words. And I continued to do that. And I noticed that when I started getting, probably when I was about 17 years old or 18 years old, I wrote 2 songs that they're really, really good. I mean, real good. I actually re-released the one a year and a half ago. And the other one I have to redo. I recorded them in a Schaumburg studio, Schaumburg, Illinois. and they did not master them correctly. So those are the two those are the records that I mentioned to you that I took to the radio station. They said they liked the song, but they couldn't play it. But they also told me the audio was not clean enough. And so, but those songs got better. And as I got older, I kept writing, and the songs just kept getting better and better. I really enjoy the writing part. I collaborated with the lead vocalist in our teenage band. We wrote probably 8, 9, 10 songs together. But outside of that, as an adult, I have not collaborated on a song in regards to songwriting. I write everything myself. And I do need to mention that when I do finish a song, when I have it completed to where I'm getting ready to release it, I take a memory stick, I put the song on the memory stick, and I ask my wife to go sit in the car with me, and I play it through the car stereo, and I ask her, is it good enough? And honest to God, there's been times when she said, I don't know, Gary, that one there don't quite make it. My wife is she knows music, and she knows me, and she knows I'm not satisfied with something unless it's right, And so I'll go back and I'll remix it, and we'll do the same thing again, and she'll say, "Okay, now you got it. Now we're sounding good." So, but yeah, that's the love of the music, and that's why I think you get better as you do things longer. In all honesty, all the songs that I've written since 2015, in my opinion, a lot of them I haven't released yet, but they're all good. They're all good songs. They're what I call, Stephanie, listenable songs. You can listen to it and enjoy it. Okay. And I enjoy seeing the feedback. And I've had people say, Gary, I think your voice is buried in the music. And I appreciate that, because if they think it's buried, then I go back and I'll just remix it and send it out again, But I got the hang of mixing and mastering now pretty good, and I really enjoy that. But as you do things, you do get better. It's just like playing a guitar. You practice. If you practice, you're going to get better. And there's so many talented musicians out there, so many talented songwriters. My headphones are falling off. And there's just a lot of talented people out there, and a lot of them are not even anywhere near at the level of success that, if you want to call success, as I am. And they're working hard. They're working hard at it, But I keep doing it every day. I keep pushing and getting the songs ready to go out to the radio stations. And the love of music is what keeps me going. If somebody said that they were going to take my music away from me and I won't be able to do it again, I'm just not sure how I would react to that. I just don't. I don't know if I want to be here if I can't do music. It's just something that I enjoy. And as I said, my wife plays keyboards in our band, and she also plays keyboards on a lot of my songs. I asked her to play it because I want her involved. And she does a great job. Especially on Disguising Your Eyes. She did the keyboard work on there, and it turned out really, really good. So I would continue to do it. You're going to get better.
It's your passion. It keeps you going. I can totally relate to that.
Yep.
Thank you. So now we're going to play one last song, Disguise in Your Eyes. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that one?
Disguise in Your Eyes is about a guy that's got a girlfriend and she cheats on him. And for some reason, I wrote several songs in the last 5 years that had that theme to it. And after a while, my wife says, you need to stop doing that because everybody thinks I'm cheating on you. So, but she's not. I mean, she's, but it is about a guy that has a girlfriend that is cheating on him, and it's hurting him, And this is a song that got on the European charts also in the top 10, and it was there for a couple of months. I was very satisfied with the way that the radio stations in Europe took care of that. It was also on a lot of charts in America, and I'm very pleased with it. I love the music and the way the words all went together. And it's just one of those things to where you just have to listen and then pray it never happens to you. Disguise in Your Eyes.
Say you're working late at night. I know there's something not quite right, 'cause your eyes can't disguise the lies you hide. I know you're cheating, it's breaking my heart to know you're stealing away in the dark. The disguise in your eyes won't hide your lies. But you've only thought of yourself, my dear. You broke those vows we held so dear, and your eyes can't disguise the lies you hide. I've always loved you, I've made it clear, but you only thought of yourself, my dear. The disguise in your eyes can't hide your lies. But you've only thought of yourself, my dear. You broke those vows we held so dear, and your eyes can't disguise the disguise in your eyes. No, your eyes can't disguise the lies you hide. Disguise in your eyes. Disguise in your eyes.
The Sky's in Your Eyes. One of my favorite songs for myself. I really, really like that video that Chuck Richardson did for that. I almost forgot also, Stephanie, that I want to give a shout out to Chris Spear, who's promoting some of my songs. And Chris does a really great job, and I'm looking forward to our working relationship. And he runs the Space Angel organization, and he's on Facebook, and he's promoting my song Walk Walk, and several of my songs he's doing promotion videos and things of that sort. So I want to give a shout out to Chris. Thank you very much, Chris.
Sorry, I'm so muted. Sorry about that. So what is coming up for you in the near future?
I am, hair's all messed up. I actually submitted one of my later songs called Another Lonely Night to a songwriting contest in England, and hoping to see I'm hoping to do well in there. So waiting for that. They're supposed to have the results of that sometime in April or May of this year. And I'm really looking forward, Stephanie, to finishing a lot of the songs that I had started that I have not been able to work on for probably the last 7 months for various reasons. I don't mind saying this, but early last year, I lost my hearing for a little bit. No, it's back now. My hearing's fine, but had some things that kind of held me back a little bit from finishing some of the projects. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have a new song. The next new song I'm going to release is called "I Can't Hold Another." And it's really good, Stephanie. And I am going to send it to you first. When I finish it, I will send it to you. I really do believe you're going to like it. It's a really, really good song.
Looking forward to it. What advice would you give to new songwriters?
Don't let people sway you from doing things that you're not comfortable with. All right. If you write songs a certain way, continue to do that. Just focus on your songwriting. It's okay to take advice from experienced songwriters in the way you use your words. That's all fine. But the best thing is to stay true to what you're creating, because you're the one creating it, not somebody else. You create it. That's why you have John Lennon's and Paul McCartney's of the world and Brian Wilson's. You know, everybody has a different way that they create, and they create different types of music. And just stay faithful to your initial creation process. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. And is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would just like to add that if you're ever in Arkansas, come up to the Bentonville Bella Vista place up here and come and listen to my Rock and Roads band. And you can hear me do some of my original music too. So,
Geary, thank you so much for being here. As for everyone, the interview will be on the radio station tonight at 7 p.m. PST. It will also be in LinkedIn and Facebook, and will be sent through my email newsletter. I hope everybody enjoys.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you so much.